Hey everybody, welcome back. We're now going to tackle the fourth game, Proof of Employment. So this is the one that introduces the scientists. And the scientists do play very differently from everyone else. What makes them very different is that, let me mouse over this, they, first of all, they get patents a little bit faster, they get some protection against EMP and power surges, but the big thing is that they can build their secondary buildings right on top of primary resources. And what that means is, see this water here? They can put their farms and reactors right onto the water. They don't even need water pumps. They'll suck the water directly out of the tile. And in fact, this would be a pretty good location for the scientists because they need glass, they need food, oxygen, fuel, and that they have the silicon in the water they need here. The one thing that's missing, of course, is iron. And speaking of which, there's the iron. So this looks like a great place to start. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my HQ right here. So it just kind of touches this iron. So that means I can drop down some steel mills right away. Build a triangle of steel mills, just pump out that steel as fast as possible so I can upgrade to level 2 as quickly as possible. I am going to, however, get an aluminum. Oh, this is an amazing location. I got my aluminum, I got my iron. This is really what a scientist needs. Alright, so let me buy up some aluminum, so before the price goes up, and then I'm just kind of waiting for, I'm just waiting for my steel to come in. Okay, I can upgrade. Great. Okay, so now let me claim this water tile here. I'm also gonna. What should I build? Should I build a farm or a reactor? Let me go ahead and build a farm. I'm gonna build 2 farms, and if I can afford it. The problem is I have to pick glass. All right, 2 farms. And then I think I'm gonna actually start getting the glass. Normally, if you're playing on the main level, the base level manager, you only get 3 claims when you go to level 2. But on employee here, you get 4. So that means I can do 2 farms and 2 glass kilns. Normally here, if you only had 3, I would probably go for 2 farms and then 1 building of some other type. Maybe I grab, I don't know. I might. Not sure, I might grab some water, I might grab a single silicon tile and just mine the silicon, I might put down a solar panel, lots of different things you can do, but I wouldn't put down a single glass furnace because, those single buildings are not really worthwhile. Alright, so let me put down 2 glass kilns so they can boost each other. So the one thing that they're missing is oxygen, so I'm going to have to ship oxygen directly from my HQ to them. And before I do, let's see. I'm going to wait for them to finish, and then I'm going to show you a very important button. Because I want to make sure that these buildings are always working. I don't want them to be short of something. So, let me show you this building here. This is the auto supply building. Currently I have auto supply off for these buildings. The problem is you see they have a certain amount of oxygen stockpiled. But at some point that oxygen is going to run out. And then if I have oxygen here, it'll ship the oxygen. But look, I don't actually have any oxygen. So once it runs out of oxygen, I would have to either buy oxygen on the open market to make sure these glass kilns are working. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on this auto supply button. And what this means is the game is going to automatically spend my cash to buy the oxygen that these glass kilns need. Generally speaking, once you're familiar with the game, you want to pretty much always put your secondary buildings on auto supply. In fact, there's an option in the game options, which I actually had on before this game, which is why, for example, my farm here has auto supply currently on, to basically make sure that all your buildings start the game with auto supply being on. And so that's certainly recommended. Once you get comfortable with the game. Before you're comfortable with it, you may not realize that you're spending cash to buy these primary resources. And that can be a really bad deal if, like for example, the price of iron is higher than the price of steel. Then you're basically throwing your money away buying iron to make cheaper steel. Alright, geotherm just came out for auction. That's something I would definitely be willing to pay for, especially as the price of power keeps going up and up and up. So I'm going to go ahead and put down a geotherm on that. So again, you see here's the blimps. Here's some glass. Some oxygen flying out to the glass kiln. And it did that because I had the building on auto supply. It just automatically spent some of my cash to buy the oxygen that those glass kilns need. So pay attention to this button. Make sure you have auto supply on, once you understand the, sort of the basics of the game. And actually, let me take a chance to show you the options. So jump to auctions, gameplay. This is what I'm talking about. Right here, auto supply on. So once you turn that on, it means all your buildings, whenever you build them, it will show you. They will start with auto supply automatically turned on. Definitely, all of the competitive players, they definitely play with this, because if you don't have that option on, a lot of times you'll have buildings that stop working because you forgot that you didn't have enough oxygen, or you didn't have enough aluminum, or you didn't have enough water, and your buildings will just automatically stop working. Alright, let me upgrade. Wow, actually I've fallen behind. Everyone else is at level 3. Alright, so power is still looking pretty good. Oh, there's no more... Is that right? There's no more geothermals? Okay. In that case, another thing I think I want to do is I want to get reactors down. So I'm going to put a couple reactors here. Again, I'm scientific, so I'm going to put the reactors right on top of the water. And the nice thing about this is the oxygen that got produced from here will actually ship directly to the glass kilns. So it'll kind of save me from having to buy the oxygen from the HQ. You know what? Actually, I am going to change this around. This is not really recommended, deleting this stuff like this, but I'm going to do it just kind of like to optimize my arrangement a little bit better. I'm going to put the reactors here, and then I'm going to claim this tile. And what this does is it connects the reactors to the glass kilns. And what that means is I'm going to put a solar panel there. And so what that means is that when the oxygen gets produced from these reactors, it's just going to flow automatically into the glass kilns because they're all part of the same sort of piece of territory. It doesn't involve blimps, they're just sort of like automatically connected. So now you'll see that once these reactors sort of come online, you'll see that
robotics HQ has been upgraded.
let me see if you see this. You see right here the stockpile, it says oxygen 36. You'll see it be 36, 37. It's staying steady. And the reason it's staying steady is because its oxygen is being supplied from these reactors here. So it's just a good arrangement. All right. In the meantime, let me bribe a claim from the black market. I haven't paid much attention to the black market, but bribing a claim for 4,500 is a pretty good bet. And I'll build another reactor because look at that fuel price. That fuel price is pretty high.
HQ has been upgraded.
All right, I'm again falling behind. Doing too much talking. So now I'm level 4. I think I might. Oh, Joji has built a. And it's even working too. It's built a patent lab. I wanted to talk to you guys about patents, so maybe I'll try to get a patent lab up. Ooh, optimization center. Okay, well I can teach you guys about that too. Optimization center is a way to basically improve the production rate of your buildings. So you basically can improve your power production or your water production or your food production, whatever you want to. So I got it. It costs chemicals, so I'm probably going to want to get into chemicals. So I'm going to, what's making me a lot of money? Glass is making me money. So I'm going to basically boost my glass production. I'm going to boost my steel production.
Screw with us, and we'll screw with you.
Someone just got some of the mutiny. All right, let me put down another farm. Probably another glass kiln. And now maybe I want to think about chemicals. Where is some... Where are some carbon? Looking around the map. Ooh, there's carbon all the way up here. That's a long way away, so this is problematic. I could put a chemical lab here, but I'd have to ship resources all the way out there and all the way back. However, there are some pretty special patents I could get that could fix that. Let me talk about patents real quick. Now open up this patent menu. So if you build a patent lab, you can start acquiring these special patents, which do cool things for you. And in fact, Joji has already grabbed a couple of them. Superconductor, it means that power buildings that are connected to your HQ work double speed, or produce double power, which is nice. Energy Vault gives you like a power backup that fills basically 1 per second. So like that's nice if you have solar panels. So at night, like when your solar panels turn off, you can then use your power backup. Financial instruments, remember when you're in debt, you have those interest payments. You get set 25% of everyone's interest payments, right as cash. Water engine means you can use water instead of fuel. It'll actually use whichever one's cheaper. If water is cheaper than fuel, it'll use water. If fuel is cheaper than water, it'll use water. Also, it means your off-world markets will do the same thing. If water is cheaper, the off-world markets will use water to launch off-world. Perpetual motion, very simple, cuts the power consumption of your buildings in half. Virtual reality. If you have a pleasure dome, it creates twice as much, 50% more revenue. Nanotech means you can delete your buildings and get all the resources back that it costs to build them. Cold fusion, similar to water engine, except now you can use water instead of power. Carbon scrubbing means that you can, your buildings basically means your electronics factories and chemical refineries, they don't need carbon anymore. They just get carbon from the atmosphere. Slant drilling is a nice one. It means that, like for instance, where is this? See this high aluminum here? If someone has slant drilling, they could put a mine here, and they would still be able to work that high aluminum. And what's really awesome, it's a nice one for scientists, because you see this single carbon? If I had slant drilling, I could put chem labs all around that carbon, and all of my buildings will be able to use that carbon. Thinking machines protects all your buildings that are one tile away from your HQ, not connected, one tile away from sabotage. 50% protection against sabotage. So those are awesome for obviously off-world markets. That's why you often see people put their off-world markets next to their HQ. Finally, teleportation. That's awesome. Obviously, you no longer need freighters, blimps, or whatever you want to call them. Your buildings just automatically beam to your HQ. So if I had slant drilling and teleportation, I could put some chem labs down here and really be in business. So I think I want to get a patent lab up, if possible, and start thinking about doing one of those things. What else do I want to do with this one claim here? Like I said, I'd like to make chemicals. It's hard to know what to do. I might just go for carbon scrubbing right away. Because if I get carbon scrubbing right away, then I can put my chemical labs like here. And bribe another claim so I can get that so I can get 2 chemical labs down. And
an expansive HQ has been upgraded.
Let me see if I can get to start working on get thinking machines ready. Not thinking, sorry, carbon scrubbing. So I'm going to get carbon scrubbing. Carbon scrubbing is my priority so that these chemical refineries don't need carbon at all and that they can be very, very profitable for me. So in the meantime, I know that... oh, what happened to Joji's... Joji had a patent lab, but it got stolen by someone else. Okay. When it's done for being stolen, I might use a power surge on it to like prevent Joji from taking carbon scrubbing away from me. All right, so I'm going to upgrade my chemical production. If you got an optimization center and a patent lab, it's great to upgrade chemicals, obviously, because you're going to need a lot of chemicals to use those. Because both those patents cost chemicals, optimizations cost chemicals.
The black market is online.
All right, what else do I want to do here? I'm going to grab a goon squad and I'm going to protect my patent lab. The AI often will hit your patent labs, so something to think about. I've almost got carbon scrubbing. Let's watch this building here. See, it's net 74. Oh, it's not going to make a huge difference because the price of carbon just totally crashed, but it's still good to have. All right, now, so I don't need teleportation quite so much anymore. I also don't need slant drilling so much anymore because I got that chemical, because I got the, because I got carbon scrubbing. But I ended up just picking the right tech. Oftentimes, for scientists, carbon scrubbing, slant drilling, and teleportation are like sort of these 3 patents you'll often see scientists grab because they give them so much flexibility. You know, they can grab these weird tiles way out in the middle of nowhere, you know, surround them because they've got slant drilling, and get the resources beamed directly back to their base. And of course, carbon scrubbing is popular because it makes it really easy for them to make chemicals as well. Or, you know, if they find a tile somewhere that has if you find a tile that's nearby silicon and aluminum, well, that's a lot for claim. If you find a tile that's nearby silicon and aluminum, if you get slant drilling, you can put an electronics factory between those tiles, get carbon scrubbing. You're basically making free electronics because you're getting the carbon from the atmosphere and you're getting the aluminum and the silicon from your slant drilling. So, you know, that works out very well. I'm going to automatically start selling my glass because it's doing very well. I am going to get perpetual motion. Do I even need slant drilling at all? I don't think there's anything that needs it. Teleportation would not be bad. I do have these farms up here. So I'm going to grab that. Maybe I'm going to start buying into someone. Maybe Maisie, because she has the least amount of her stock. And I should build some more stuff. I'm going to build some more chem labs. And it would not be a bad idea to get a high water somewhere, just because, you know, water is... I do still need water. Electronics factories. Those would be nice. I should put those on... I'm going to put those on this... I'm going to put those on these aluminum tiles down here. So then it's going to get the aluminum for free. Actually, no. I'm going to change my mind about that. Because, see, look, I'm looking at the market. You see, aluminum's only $6, but silicon is $62. So instead, I'm going to put those electronics factories over here so that they can get free silicon, because that's the expensive thing. Don't need more claims. Minor claims. Now 2 would be enough for now. Just a little bit. Am I close to getting? I'm very close. Oh, someone else jumped in to help me out. Finish off Maisie's song. Alright, maybe I can convince Joji to do the same on Frank Dawson. Although, you know what? I think I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to focus on getting an Offworld market up, because I'm getting close to what I need for an Offworld market. Almost got teleportation. That's going to give me a whole bunch of glass. And I'll start getting the... I'm going to bribe a claim. Oh, here's that extra claim. I knew I had one more. Alright, so I'm going to use that on... Get a third electronics factory. What else do I want? If I do get slant drill, I get the... Okay, I'm not going to do that. It's just one silicon that would give me... I really want to get that off of market up soon. Very, very close. Sell some fuel, sell some water. That gets me close enough. Get an Offworld market up. We'll put the Offworld market here. So it's nowhere near any of my other buildings, so they're not going to be... If they hit me with a power surge, it's not going to, you know, kick back and hit one of my other buildings. And you have to worry, mutinies are available. Mutinies is a very smart thing to hit an Offworld market with, because if you mutiny someone's Offworld market, you can use it.
Is available for option.
Okay, Hacker is up for auction. There's enough players who are doing well enough in this game. I'm not necessarily going to jump on a hack array because it's not clear what I should hack. Probably everything is being made. Maybe no one's making electronics. Yeah, I don't see anyone making electronics, so I could, alright, I could hack electronics. I'm the only one doing it. I'm not going to go over 20,000. That's fine. I'm going to hit Shift A. What Shift A is, it automatically finishes an auction, and the AI just kind of like does the math really quickly to decide what they would bid on it. Alright, however, I should still buy into Frank. There's no reason not to. Now that I got the Offworld market coming up. My cooldown's almost done. I want to make sure I get a Goon Squad up. 4, 3, 2, 1.
The black market is online.
Alright, got a Goon Squad on my Offworld market. Let's see, is there anything I want to optimize? Optimize electronics. Optimize food. Anything else I want to pad? Oh yeah, thinking machines. Thinking machines would be great. Sure, I'll get slant drilling too, so I start getting this. So I start getting this free silicon here. Wouldn't be a bad idea. It's not a huge deal, but at this point, I think I can afford it. Okay, got my Offworld market up. Let's start launching. I'm going to auto launch both food and oxygen. Oh, Frank got his 5th share. So that means this game's going to go a little longer. Because Frank will not die to a majority buyout. So, I am going to, I think, go for a second. So I'm going to buy up 100 of the electronics, 100 of the glass that I need. So you can basically, even though these are on auto sell, you can still basically keep a stockpile around, because I know I need these 100 glass, 100 electronics to build the Offworld market. So I'm just going to kind of like keep those around. Need more claims. Oh, I need a claim. Alright, I'm going to buy claim from the black market to build the Offworld market. And there we go. I gotta make sure I protect with the Goon Squad. Someone stole my optimization center. That's alright. Almost have slant drilling. I'll just sell my steel. I don't need any more because I got 2 Offworld markets up. Basically, it's time to just auto sell everything that you're making. Boy, I really don't need all this aluminum. Maybe I'm just delete this, throw down a wind turbine, because I don't know what I would do with this much aluminum anymore. Alright. Buy up some of Frank. So now, again, Frank, I had to buy this all out at once. And how much am I going to need for that? Hard to tell with my head. But actually, this will make it really simple to explain. You need 5 shares, and you have to pay double. So it's kind of like buying 10 shares. 10 shares times 30. Basically, you just... you need $300,000. You just add a 0. $30 share. You have to buy, you know, each of the shares is 1,000. It says $30, but each of the shares is 1,000. So that's why, you know, $30 it's going to cost you $30,000 to buy a share of stock. So then you just multiply by that by 10 to find out how much you need to buy him out. So someone is $30, that means you need $300,000 to buy them out. And I'm getting close. Got $100,000. I got this one Offworld shipment coming.
Sold.
Ooh, I got a power surge. Probably because someone tried to hit one of my Offworld markets. So let me get the goon squad up on that. And I want to... Joji's the guy I'm most worried about because I'm not about to buy him out. So let me... Oh, he's got an Offworld market coming up. All right, let me freeze that guy. So it's constructing. Now it's frozen. So it won't be ready for quite some time.
Offworld shipment launched.
All right, I'm over halfway there to Frank. Maybe if I move my head down here, it'll help out that part a little bit. So you see, buy him out at 308,000. Oh, I lost control of my Offworld market. Well, that's a pretty good move on their part. However, in 20 seconds, I will have my my Offworld market will ship. That should give me something like $60,000. I'm making about $1,000 a second, so I'm getting pretty close.
The black market is online. Shipment launched. Look at all the money.
And almost there. Almost there. Almost there. His price is going up as I'm earning some money. But I will catch him. There. Bang. Alright. Now I've got Frank Dawson. Now I just need to take out Joji. Shouldn't be a problem since I've got 2 Offworld markets up. Alright, so one's shipping food, one's shipping oxygen. If you auto-launch 2 things and you have 2 Offworld markets, they'll just make sure you use both of them. And I like not, even though food is more expensive, I like spreading it out because that means that if you double launch something, every time you launch it, it'll probably be driving up the price because you might be buying it from the market. So to kind of protect yourself from being in a situation where you're not, from a situation where you're actually not making a profit off world, it's a good idea to do that. I probably should have bought a goon squad instead. So I really don't want to lose this Offworld market. So let's just stock. Gotta make sure it's protected. Great electronics production. At this point, we've kind of killed the prices on world. We're making so much stuff that we've driven those prices on world down. So like the only way to make money is basically off world. I'm just not even gonna bid for this. No one bid on the auction. We're getting close to the end. So I got 2 extra claims. That's right, because I bought out. Because I did a buyout. Every time you do a full buyout, you get an extra 2 claims. And I will use them for an extra electronics factory and an extra reactor. How close am I? Oops. No, so he snuck in and bought these extra shares. Now I'm gonna have to pay double for them. So that's going to delay the inevitable a little bit. Ah, see that? My goon squad picked off his mutiny. He tried to hit me with a mutiny. So instead, I can use my mutiny on him. What does he have that I want? Maybe that pleasure dome. That would be a nice target. Now it's my pleasure dome. Alright, 7 seconds left. I definitely want to buy this goon squad.
The black market is online.
Right there. You see it's defended. After your goon squad gets used, it gets defended for about 10 seconds, and that gives you a little bit of a cushion to make sure you have time to get another goon squad down if you so choose. Alright, so now I just need to get to 376 to boost the speed up a little bit because at this point it's just kind of inevitable. We're just kind of waiting for the shipments to launch. In fact, let me delete this pad lab. Might as well make something down there that's making money.
We caught a dirty rat trying to break our stuff.
It's not really going to make a whole lot of sense, but
is online.
Just waiting. Just need to get to 400,000. You see, I haven't. No, he's actually making a run on me.
Look at all the money.
But I should get to. No, you know what? There's an outside chance he could run for a majority buyout on me because I didn't actually protect my stock. I mean, everything is humming along fine. My buildings are all making money. Some are not making as much money as others. I mean, look at these glass kilns are only making 10 a second. It's pretty sad. In a competitive game, you'd want to optimize things a little bit better. Certainly. But, alright, I'll go ahead and sell that share of stock. That should give me enough for the buyout. There we go. Alright. Done with game 4. Alright, on to practice game 5.